to knock it down.
Yes, she is a knockdown shooter. She is feisty over there, making the offensive foul. Clark takes the three and drills it.
Oh my! Behind the back.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. I am Cordy here. So, lads, today I've got to talk about something, and it's something that's really annoying me. And it's this narrative that keeps getting pushed. Oh, Caitlin Clark will never be good until she gets better off the ball. Like, stop taking her off the ball then. It's that simple. Because here's the reality, and people don't want to say it straight. She is not good off the ball. She isn't. And that's fine. Not every great player is. But the problem is, people are trying to force this idea that she has to become something she's not. She is not Stephen Curry. She is not that type of player. And for anyone, and I mean this, anyone who actually understands basketball, when you hear people say, oh, but she played off the ball at Iowa, her teammates just got her the ball back. No, that is not off-ball play. That is on-ball play with a delay. There's a massive difference. If somebody brings the ball up the floor, crosses half court, gives it up, and then immediately runs off a double pin down just to receive the ball back in the exact same spot, that is not off-ball offense. That is literally just relieving pressure and resetting the same possession through your primary creator. Just because you didn't dribble it yourself over half court does not suddenly make you an off-ball player. That's not how basketball works. And then people point to floppy sets, pin downs, quick actions into a catch-and-shoot three, and say, see, off-ball ability. No, that just means you can run into a shot. That's a skill, sure, but that does not define your offensive identity. Now let's talk about the Indiana Fever, because this is where the disconnect really starts. The Indiana Fever do not run quick hitters. They don't. They don't run structured sets designed to free one specific player repeatedly. What they run is a continuous motion offense, read and react principles, spacing, ball movement, and decision-making based on who is open. That's their system. That's their identity. That's what they ran last year, and that's what they are running now. So when people say, why don't they just run something to get Caitlin Clark the ball off the ball? They're asking for something that fundamentally goes against how the team operates. That's not what they do. In this system, the ball finds the open player. Not the best player, the open player. So when you see clips and people saying, oh, Sophie Cunningham didn't pass to Caitlin Clark, or why didn't she get the ball? It's usually because Caitlin is being face-guarded and someone else is open. That's the read, that's the decision, that's the system working exactly as designed. But here's the problem. Caitlin Clark does not function well as a decoy. When she doesn't have the ball, she is not impacting the game the way other off-ball guards might. She's not manipulating defenses through movement. She's not slipping screens and relocating with elite timing. And a huge part of that is because she's being face-guarded. Teams are literally willing to play 4-on-4 just to keep the ball out of her hands. And the Fever? They are not forcing the issue. They are not running specific counters to break that denial. They are not bending their system to reprioritize her touches. Not intentionally. They're just sticking to their philosophy. And that leads to a very specific outcome. Caitlin Clark becomes a decoy. Now compare that to Iowa. When Caitlin Clark gave up the ball there, whether it was Kate Martin or Gabby Marshall bringing it up, the entire purpose of the action was to get the ball back into Caitlin's hands. Everything revolved around that. Even when she was off the ball, she wasn't really off the ball. She was just momentarily repositioning to re-engage as the primary decision maker. And we actually saw a version of that with the Fever in 2024, especially post-Olympic break. If Caitlin gave the ball up, the intent was clear. Get it back to her. Let her and Aliyah Boston make the decisions. That's not what's happening now. Now, decisions are made by whoever has the ball. And that is a completely different structure. So what does that mean for Caitlin Clark? It means long stretches where she doesn't touch the ball. And when she doesn't touch the ball, her rhythm disappears. And Caitlin Clark is a rhythm player. Everything about her game depends on rhythm, pace, timing, confidence, sequencing possessions. You disrupt that, you disrupt her entire impact. We saw it clearly. When she starts a game, ball in her hands, team playing fast, everything flowing, she looks elite. Scoring, assisting, controlling tempo. Then, the ball stops finding her. The offense shifts into motion. A few possessions go by. Then, she finally gets it back, and what happens? Dribble, 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 step back deep three. Low percentage shot. Forced decision. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Those are frustration shots. They're not coming from within the flow of the offense. They're coming from a player trying to reinsert herself into the game after being iced out. And that's not a criticism of effort, it's a structural issue. Now, let's address something else, because people hate hearing this. Not every great player is plug and play. You cannot take someone like Caitlin Clark and drop her into any system and expect the same results. That's not how elite offensive engines work. It's like trying to use LeBron James as a pure off-ball scorer like Kevin Durant. It's not his game. Or asking Paige Buckers to operate in a completely different system that doesn't suit her strengths. Or telling Aliyah Boston to play like A'ja Wilson in a role that doesn't match her current skill set. Players have archetypes. And Caitlin Park's archetype is clear. She is an offensive engine, not a complementary piece, not a movement shooter, an engine. And that brings us to Stephanie White, because this is where the conversation needs to be more precise. Saying Stephanie White is wrong is not the same as saying this system does not maximize Caitlin Clark. Those are two very different claims. Stephanie White has had success. She knows what she's doing. The system itself is not broken, but it may not be the right system for this specific player. That's the real discussion. Because when Caitlin Clark plays her best basketball, everything runs through her. Pace increases, decisions centralize, the offense becomes dynamic, unpredictable, and aggressive. When she doesn't, she fades into the background. And here's the uncomfortable truth. If you are going to use her as a decoy, she is not impactful enough in that role to justify heavy minutes, especially considering defensive trade-offs. That's not an insult, it's a role mismatch. Because if she's not initiating, not touching the ball, not creating advantages, then what the hell is she providing consistently on a possession-to-possession basis? Meanwhile, when she is the system, everything changes. She creates scoring bursts, not steady, evenly distributed scoring, but explosive runs. 10 points in a few minutes, assist streaks that break defenses, momentum swings that decide games. That's her value. That's her identity. And right now, that identity is not the Fever's primary approach, which leads to the bigger question. Can the Indiana Fever win at the highest level without making that their A game? Because historically, teams with elite offensive engines succeed by leaning into that engine, not suppressing it. If the Fever want to contend, the blueprint is obvious. Caitlin Clark as the Steve Nash-type orchestrator, Aliyah Boston as the Amari Stoudemire-type finisher and interior presence, Kelsey Mitchell filling a hybrid scoring role, part Sean Marion, part Joe Johnson, everything flowing through pick and roll, pace, and decision-making at the top. That doesn't mean abandoning structure, but it does mean prioritizing your best decision-makers. Because right now, the motion offense is distributing responsibility evenly, but the talent is not evenly distributed. And when your two best decision-makers, Caitlin Clark and Aliyah Boston, are not consistently controlling possessions, you are inherently lowering your offensive ceiling. And Aliyah Boston, by the way, is also affected by this. She's evolved into a pick-and-roll big, an offensive hub, not just a back-to-the-basket player. That's where she thrives. That's where she's most efficient. And a motion-heavy system doesn't fully unlock that either. So now you have a situation where your two foundational players are not being maximized by the system you're running. That's not sustainable if the goal is a championship. And again, this isn't about blame. It's about alignment. System versus personnel. Philosophy versus optimization. Right now, those things are slightly out of sync. And until that gets resolved, this conversation isn't going anywhere. Because the reality is simple. Caitlin Clark is not an off-ball player. She is the system. And if you're not going to let her be that, then you have to accept everything that comes with it. Anyway, that's it. Tell me what you think. Don't forget like and subscribe. See you guys.